Welcome back, Brad.
Well,
Doug.
here we go. The Ryan and Brad, Doug and Mark show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all of us.
so,
All four of us are here.
hey, why don't we, now that would really scare a lot of people. Half the things we do were scary, but that would do it. All four of us are here.
Yeah, we're all here. We're all here. Our schizophrenic selves.
And to what do I owe this auspicious occasion?
Well, how to get there from here? That's why I'm calling, because now you finally laid it out how to get there from here. No, I'm just bugging you. You've said these things before. Yeah, it's just I know that you're not prone to putting things into a step 1, step 2, step 3, but I've always encouraged you to because I know that those types of step 1, step 2, step 3 things are helpful to people because they're helpful to me. And I got to tell you, looking at what you wrote this morning, wow. Yeah. The steps, I have to confess, I wasn't 100% clear, and I didn't, I thought I was following those steps. I thought I was in agreement with all that, but when you laid it down into steps, I had to challenge myself and say, hey, are you really following these steps? So what encouraged you to put things into step form? That's not like you.
Well, if you go way back in my history of writing things of the spiritual genre, that's what I used to always do. In fact, the first book I wrote was something like 7 Steps to Living an Excited Life or something like that. Um, I wish I could take credit. I am determined to lay a formula out in steps, and it didn't come that way. It came like something choking me around the neck saying, "It's time you wrote." Whoa, wait a minute, what? Just right. So I got in the zone and started writing, and wow, I was pretty excited about what was coming. And actually, it came about 2 this morning, and that's when I sent it to you. It took about a half hour to write it. I looked to make sure that I hadn't screwed it up with how I'd interpret it, and so I asked what to clear up, and there it was. I thought it was phenomenal, but it's like a couple of the books that people have told me are great that I've written, and I have to do the same thing. What do I have to sound crazy and say, yeah, but I didn't write it? I only, transcribed it, or either side, whether I'm acting egoistically, like I'm taking credit for it, or to put it in a religious framework, I'm taking the glory for doing this. It's neither. I get in the zone and it comes. Michael Jordan taking one of his crazy shots. This is obviously beyond me.
Well, you say that,
and
and that's okay. I mean, I've heard you say it so many times now. I'm beginning to ask myself why you even say it.
Oh yeah, well yeah, because if it isn't any good, you won't post it or you won't publish it.
So getting into the zone, how to get there from here. You're using a kind of a different way to define where there is, and I'm going to take from the article that your there is defined by this phrase: trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path. That's the there that you're talking about. Is to be in a place where the Lord is going to direct your paths. And I know in the article you go into your definition and viewpoint of the word the Lord and explanation and all that sort of stuff, but I don't want to focus on that. because I think it would be a distraction to really what it is that you're trying to get across to people, and that is, from my perspective, or at least what you got across to me was, um, is in a very simple way what this site is all about, and it's about connection, getting connected, and staying connected, and a simple 1, 2, 3 step process that you use all the time to get there. So why don't we just take a look at your process and start with step one. You know, this morning I was saying my typical prayers and doing my typical meditation, and I was about to meet with my mental mastermind group and see if I could get some guidance or input for today. And I heard no, to read your article. And I read your article, and I read down to step number 1, make a declaration of intent to the universe at large that you want to trust. And you know, while I'd have to say that I consider myself a person of faith, I don't know that I've ever actually made that declaration. And it reminded me of that story that you used to tell, that I've heard you tell a couple of times, about that woman with the demon who anytime you'd ask her a question, she'd go, "Oh yeah, I love the Lord. I love the Lord." You know, and so I kind of felt the same, where I go, "Oh yeah, I trust God. Of course I trust God. Don't be ridiculous." I kind of felt like that when I read the statement, that I was like that woman who, while I was just saying something that was on my conscious mind, but I don't know if I actually made that heart connection, because trust, the intent to trust outside of yourself all the time, is what you're asking for. That's a big one, right?
Yep.
It's a real toughie.
Yeah, wow. I'm glad you framed it that way, which brings us to step 2.
Step 2. What now? What now? Using the simple phrase, the what now, by realizing I don't know squat, gets me into the zone of trusting what is beyond my ability to trust. And now I'm glad that you phrased it that way. It's beyond your ability. When I just gave you a confession that it was beyond mine, and although I thought I was doing something like that, or I gave mental ascension to that, was I really actually saying, I trust you, God, by whatever title or name, I trust you completely and wholly, 100%, and I really don't know anything, right? I hold up my hands because I don't know anything, right? And I typically only get that way once I get into trouble, you know? I use my conscious mind all day long. Doing, rather than being. Wow. I don't know
now
squat.
I'm understanding something. Wow.
I don't know squat to me is not leaning on my own understanding. That's a modern day paraphrase for not leaning on my own understanding, and I get that, because I certainly find myself in business and life in general in positions where I'm way beyond myself. I'm way overextending, and I don't know how I got there. Was it because I trusted?
Well, yeah, there is that.
Well, it could be because I trusted the conscious mind. I trusted my own thought process, right?
That's the problem with being as smart as you are.
Well, I don't think I'm as smart as you say I am, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so making that connection and charging my subconscious mind to let go of anything beyond that trust is an exercise I needed to do. It was something I needed to go through. You say it's the first step. Well, I always thought I've taken many steps towards an integrated mind. And I have many practices that support it and facilitate it. But I missed this one important step, the declaration of intent, that I want to trust. And I didn't charge my subconscious mind, or as you call it, mega me, or I call it my master mental processor. I haven't done that. I needed to do that. So this article was extremely valuable for me. Is this something that you already did? You made that declaration already? Yes?
Why I'm kind of silent here is what hit me while I was writing this, and I remember specifically what got me into it, was expressing, as I often do when I'm up against a mental challenge, let's put it in that frame, and I don't have an answer, and it hits me like that. Wait a minute, I gotta stop trusting in the thinker and get into this, as you know, I call other than conscious parts of the mind, and because of the way I gradiated it, the superconscious part of the mind, which I affectionately call mega me. I don't know if I say that in the article or not, but it was I acknowledged gratefully, and I mean I had a big grin on my face and everything else when I went to sit down, because I knew then, like I was expressing it like something choking me around the neck. It was more like, okay, you're ready to write now. And it was acknowledging that I needed to trust Megami, that other than conscious part. But you see, Megami for me has been ordered, has been commanded. I, with my conscious mind, this is the only good that I see the conscious part of our minds having, is the intent, and saying, okay, that's it. I want to be in and of the will of God, whatever that means. Now, I don't know what that means. I can't explain God. How on earth can I explain that? Saying, okay, I just want you to take over my life. I declare death to every other ambition or intent. I want to be controlled and ruled by the universe or by Wotan or whatever name we use, but I call it spirit parent. And with that declaration and the knowledge that this entire mind that's contained in this body bag I occupy is dedicated to that one purpose. And with that comes trust. And I can't explain that either. I don't know squat. I don't understand even what I'm saying, other than that's all part of it. And it rolls up into this. I've been preaching and have an attitude of gratitude, which everybody else preaches as well. I mean, forever. But that being grateful and having joy and pasting that smile on my face until I know that's what I'm doing. I am smiling because I'm excited and happy, because the universe loves me. God loves me. Well, our spirit parent loves me. But it's all automatic. It's all automatic. It's not something that I have to go through a ritual to get to. But this morning I was shown again a reminder that what started me off on this was you've heard me and everybody else that listens or pays any attention to anything in our life, or rail against all forms of Christianity and any other religion for that matter. And yet I have to say that it was a Christian teacher that pointed me to this verse and came from the Bible, and I knew, memorize this, make this, the principle that you guide your life by. Now that part didn't come from any teacher. That came from within. It was like the other than conscious parts of my mind finally said, okay, Buster, you finally got it. Stop leaning on your own understanding and trust and acknowledge. And so what got me this morning, although I was trying to get to it, so I'm finally back to it, was I acknowledged megamy. I acknowledged this other part of my mental processes that I don't understand, I'm not in touch with, yet which is connected 24/7 with that universal mind by whatever other name. And as soon as I acknowledge it, I get in the zone. So that's where the three steps came from. Just this being aware of it and the realization. It's a great reminder for me. I realize I've said all this stuff before, but you're right. This is just I'm babbling on and on. You've said it all eloquently. Why don't you say goodbye, Ryan?
It's put in a very easy to digest form, is what it is, and it follows itself in a logical and clear sequence that I think is easy to absorb. There's no distractions to it. It's just straightforward and simply explained too. Not overly embellished. So nice job. What did you want me to say? Get lost? Go away? Bye or something? What was it?
Yeah, we used to end our audio podcast with say goodbye, Ryan.
Goodbye, Ryan.
And goodbye, Mark. And, say goodbye, Mark.
Goodbye, Doug.
Anyway, hey, thanks for giving me a chance to blow all this, but I think it's said well in the article, and amazingly, why you were led to do this interview, I don't know, but glad you did. Thank you. Say goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks.